We're ready. We're rolling.
All right. Welcome back to our Crazy Family Adventure podcast. We took about a 2.5 year hiatus from the podcast, but we are back and we are excited and we have a plan to keep this podcast rolling and to make this something that we do consistently.
And we have a fancy new microphone, so we feel very legit this time.
We do.
We're not quite prepared, but we're going to wing it. So
I'm prepared.
Let's chat.
All right, let's chat. So what we wanted to do on this first podcast was do a recap of 2019, where we've been, what we did in 2019, and then our plans for 2020. Also our plans for this podcast and what we are planning on sharing with you on it. So to kick it off, let's backtrack to 2019 and kind of give you a quick overview of what we did in 2019. So we started off in Wisconsin, where we attended Craig's cousin's wedding in January. People stop getting married in January in Wisconsin. It's cold. And then after that, we headed down to Hiawassee, Georgia, where we rented a house with my sister and her family for 2 months. So it was cool to get off the road for a minute and have a house. We had our trailers parked right in the driveway with us. My sister and her family also travel full time. And it was a house that kind of had like 2 levels to it. So they had their own living room, kitchen, bedroom space, and then we had our own area up top. So it was really nice to just kind of spend 2 months there just relaxing, getting caught up on work and hanging out. And I think we left the house like once a week to do a hike, and that was about it.
Yeah, our plans were to start a hike club and do 5 miles a week or something like that, and that did not happen. We did about 2 miles the entire 3 months. So
we did more than that.
We were the big winners in that one. But hey, it was cool. We chilled out for sure. The kids just played with their cousins, and they had a lot of fun. Brianna got a lot of work done, a lot of processes in place, and she felt really good leaving there that the business was kind of on the right track.
Yeah, totally. It was really nice to have 2 months with like an office with a door that I could shut it and a nice table and chair and a whole desk set up. It was pretty nice to do that. I'm kind of missing that right now, but we're making it work.
And I had a kitchen, a full kitchen, unlimited, well, not unlimited, but a lot of hot water. So we got some good showers in. So we left clean and happy. So
That's right.
Good visit.
Then we headed off from there to go to the RV Entrepreneur Summit, which was in Lake Guntersville, Alabama, where I keynoted at the summit, which was amazing. Met some really great people and just really feel like that's an awesome conference, which we will be attending again this year. And that is run by Heath and Alyssa Paget. And we will put a link in our show notes to the summit so that you can learn more about it. And hopefully you will join us there. Sorry, that was one of the kids coming and going. It's going to happen. But I will be talking this year on how to start a virtual business. So would love to see you there. Then from there, we left and we made a quick stop in Hot Springs, Alabama National Park. Very interesting national park. So feel free to check that one out if you're looking for something a little different. We also have a post on our website about it, which we will link to in the show notes. Then from there, we headed to Lake Powell in Arizona, where we met up with our friends Kaz and Craig from Why Travel Blog, who were doing a year-long road trip with their travel trailer, and just started off our next 6 weeks of boondocking through a little bit northern Arizona, through Utah, and literally 6 weeks boondocking. It was amazing.
It was. That is definitely the place and the time frame to do that part of the country. Arizona and Utah in the spring is amazing. We had dry weather, we had sunny days, so our solar was just rocking and rolling, and it wasn't hot. Like, it gets super hot there, so it was really nice.
It was perfect. We didn't even need the air like at all, so weather-wise it was great.
Yeah.
Then after that, we made the decision that it was time to change our rig. So we went from our 21-foot travel trailer and upgraded, I guess you could say, to a 30-foot travel trailer that we made the switch to the new trailer while we were boondocking in St. George, Utah. Don't know if I'd recommend.
That was like the only time it rained when we were there too, which was weird.
Yes, we made the switch to the new trailer.
Yeah.
So we bought the new trailer, moved all of our stuff in it. Craig, and we were also with my sister and her family when we were in Lake Powell in Utah. So they were there along with their friends Kaz and Craig, and my parents had met us on and off as well. But super helpful to have them around to help remove the solar from the 21-foot, put it onto the 30-foot, get all of our stuff out. They helped watch the kids. Like, made it all happen. So we got it all loaded into the new trailer, and then we headed to Las Vegas. Not to do your typical Las Vegas, but to park at the Thousand Trails there. So we were somewhere we could get Amazon packages every day. Lots of stores.
Oh, they were coming in fast and furious. Every day. It was like UPS, FedEx, and the post office. We had all 3 deliveries.
Yes, and they were awesome there. Super helpful with it at the RV park. So we spent 2 weeks remodeling the whole inside of our new rig, which we are in right now. So spent 2 weeks doing that. Also have a link in the show notes to kind of show you the blog post, the YouTube video. That is what it looks like, all the stuff we did to it and we put into it. And we got that all situated in 2 weeks, and then we were back on the road, met up with my sister and her family again, and we headed up to Northern California and stayed at Harvest Host along the way. If you've never stayed at a Harvest Host, we definitely recommend those. We hit up diner, Peggy Sue's Diner in Southern California. Then we did a winery.
Then we did a golf course.
And then we did a golf course.
Not in that particular order, but yes. Like, there's all different kinds of things you can do. You could do wineries, breweries, golf courses, and other random places like diners. So
yep.
It was fun. It was cool. It was a different experience. Right?
Yep, totally. And we did that. It was good for like the one overnight stay, so you could drive a little bit and then spend a few hours there and get up the next morning, move on to the next place. So we did that as we worked our way from Southern California up to Northern California, where then we reconnected with our friends Kaz and Craig from Why Travel Blog and spent some time in Northern California before we then moved on to the state of Oregon.
And what a weird state that is. My favorite. Probably my favorite.
Oregon.
One of my favorites, definitely. Yeah. So, I'm trying to think, man. This has been such a long and winding road. We were in Humbug State Park.
Yeah, we started in Southern Oregon and then kind of made our way up and around the whole state. We got a few posts on our website about our time in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we checked out almost every brewery and cider place that the state had to offer.
What else do you do there? You got to do that.
And in Portland, we ate our way through Portland with all the great food and everything, and really enjoyed Oregon. It's definitely a state that we like and would definitely want to go back to. Craig was even contemplating buying a house there at some point, so it's a pretty cool place. So after we finished up with Oregon, we made our way into Washington State, and then we did the same thing through Washington. So we visited some of the southern part of the state, did the Olympic National Park area. Again, continued to hit up the breweries and wineries while we were there. And not wineries,
sensing
cider
a pattern.
places.
I'm sensing a pattern here. Is there a problem we need to talk about?
Yeah, that they need... sorry, kids again. They need better cider places on this side of the country, not just in the Pacific Northwest, because it was amazing there. And now we're in Florida, and it's kind of like, wah, wah, wah. But we did that through Washington. North Cascades National Park was amazing as well. Leavenworth in Washington, lots of cool places. Then from there, we headed over to Idaho, which is our...
I was supposed to count how many states we visited before we recorded this, but I didn't. So I'm going to guess and say 46th?
Not quite, I don't think.
42nd.
Maybe.
Okay, 42nd. Well, don't hold me to that, but let's say our 42nd state.
So we had never been to Idaho before. All the others, actually Washington either, we hadn't been to yet.
Oh my God, 43rd then. I miscounted.
So Washington and Idaho were both two new states that we went and explored. Just did a very little bit in Idaho, then headed up to Glacier National Park, our favorite national park.
We also stopped at Flathead Lake before going to Glacier, which we've driven past a few times but never stayed there. That is really cool.
It was an awesome campground. We were right on the lake. It was gorgeous. Like, it was beautiful. So,
that's somewhere we're going to go back to.
Yep. Craig's got that in the plans. So then we went to Glacier National Park and spent some time there and did some amazing hikes there, and then made our way down to, actually back into Idaho, just outside the West Yellowstone area, to spend a few days with our friends from Lanes Less Traveled, which was awesome. And then we jumped over to Billings, Montana, where I went to the TBEX, which is a travel blogger conference that I was speaking on Pinterest at. So spent some time there in Billings, and then once the conference is done, Carson and I actually drove down to Wyoming to the Wyoming Dinosaur Center, where we were able to do a dinosaur dig for a day. And we dug for dinosaur bones, which was amazing because Carson is super into dinosaurs. And then after that, we headed back to Billings and we packed everything up and we headed to Yellowstone Country, which Yellowstone Country is the southern part of Montana that kind of surrounds Yellowstone. And we did a campaign with them after talking with them at T-Bex, where we hit a bunch of different cities in the area. Red Lodge, which was awesome. Actually, all of them were awesome. So let's just put that out in the beginning. They were all amazing. Disclaimer, they were all
Country
great.
is awesome.
It is. So we did Red Lodge, we did Bozeman, we did West Yellowstone, we did Livingston, we did Gardner, we did the Paradise Valley area, and it was just amazing. So it was a 2 weeks just packed full. So we have a post on our site called the Yellowstone Vacation. So we will link to that as well, so you can see all the cool things to do that aren't even necessarily in the park, but just right above it and around it. Then after that, we headed to Colorado.
Yep, Colorado. Lyons, Colorado was the town. It's just north of Boulder kind of area. We kind of went there for a couple weeks to just chill out because Yellowstone Country visit was jam-packed, like Brianna said, and we needed a little time to decompress and kind of just sit around for a while. So we found a really cool park there, amazing little river that went through it. So we did a lot of fishing. We did a lot of field play like football and soccer and all that good stuff. So that was a fun visit. We went into Denver. Did we? We didn't do Denver. We did Boulder.
Boulder. Yeah, I don't think
and Denver. We did. Maybe not.
We can't remember.
I don't know.
It all goes together. But we had a good time in there, just relaxing and kind of doing stuff in the area. Checked out some other cider places.
Hit a snowstorm. Rolled through.
Yes, the snowstorm came through, so that was fun in the rig. This year we hit a couple times where it snowed when we were in the rig, so that was something different for us. We've been avoiding it for a while, and now we did it a few times, which was great because then it all melted, so we got out of there before it wasn't melting. Then after Colorado, we went down to the San Antonio, Texas area and went to a Full-Time Families rally. If you're not familiar with Full-Time Families, it is a membership site for people that travel full-time in their RV with their kids. So there were like 70 families there.
70 families, like there had to have been 200 kids. I don't know.
It was crazy, wild, and fun. So we spent over a week there just hanging out with everyone and enjoying the rally. And when we were there, we reconnected with our friends, the Weinsteins from Zula Life, who also have vacation rentals in Destin, Florida. And Destin is one of our favorite places. And they were heading there. They're like, oh, if you guys want to, you should come stay with us. So we actually, once we were done with the rally, we just took 2 quick days and met up with them in Destin at one of their rental houses that had a beach and a hot tub, and spent, I think, 4 nights there, maybe 5, and it was awesome. Hours in the hot tub at night, and the kids had a blast playing. So if you're heading to Destin, be sure to check it out. We were able to park our rig in their driveway, which you can do there. So if you have an RV with you, you can bring it and park it in the driveway, and it was great. Then we headed over to Gulf Shores, where we did a visit with Gulf Shores, where we explored the area there and some great things to do. Gulf Shores is another beautiful area right on the coast. We really like that Gulf Coast area. So spent a few days there at a beach house that we could also park our RV in, which is awesome. So now looking back, we spent a good amount of time and stuff outside of the RV over the last year.
We did.
So yeah, it was fun. It's a fun way to break it up when you've been doing this for a while.
Well, we like places you can park the RV right at, because then you can go in and out and not have to pack stuff. So
yes, which
we're
is
lazy
great.
Like that. We don't want to move a lot of stuff.
We don't even know how to pack, so it's great when we don't have to. And then from Gulf Shores, we left and drove to Universal, where we reconnected with my parents. And in Universal, we stayed at what campground was that by Universal?
Oh man, I don't know.
It's a hard name, but it's a state park that's right by Universal. So we stayed there, parked next to my parents in our rig, and then we actually went and stayed at the Endless Summer Resort by Universal, which is one of their new resorts. And my parents watched our dog since our rig was right next to theirs, so that worked out really well. So they could watch them while we went and hoteled it and did Universal for 2 days and the hotel for 3 nights. So that was another awesome break to have. After that, we headed down to Thousand Trails Orlando, which is an RV park in Orlando, where we met up with some friends again, lanes less traveled, and
some
also
friends.
There were a lot of people here. At first, when we first went in December, there wasn't. It was with Lanes Less Traveled, The Runaway Parent, and with Zula Life. So hung out with all of them. The kids just ran and played. It was awesome. Then we packed up the van, left the trailer at Thousand Trails Orlando, and drove our van up to Wisconsin to spend the holidays up there. Then on the 27th of December, we made our way back down to Orlando, and the holidays up in Wisconsin were amazing. It was so awesome to see our friends and to see our family. but it was cold and lots of people weren't feeling well. So it's like, okay, let's get back down to the warmth in Florida. But we did have fun catching up with everyone, and Christmas was amazing and awesome. So then we headed back down here to Orlando, where we are at now, and we came into a spot where there was again like 70 families, because there was a bunch of people here to celebrate Christmas and New Year's, and that was awesome. The kids had a ton of fun, we had a ton of fun, lots of late night fires, and a great way to spend New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it was. It
Yes.
was a good time, and we met a lot of new people, which was cool. So, yeah, it's fun. It's like a rally and a party every day.
It is, totally.
Party every day.
So that was 2019.
In a nutshell.
Yes, how long did it take us? Hopefully not too long.
Oh, we're at 15 minutes.
Okay, not too bad. All right, so there is a wrap on our 2019. So definitely check our show notes to learn more about the locations we went to and all of that fun stuff. So now for 2020, we will start with what our travel plans are for 2020, and then go into some of our plans for the podcast, for Crazy Family Adventure, for Virtual Powerhouse, all that fun stuff. So right now we are in Florida. We will be in Florida for a while. We are by Orlando, and we'll be jumping around Orlando to the Keys and kind of in a bunch of different places around Florida, visiting my parents who are down here as well. And then we are going international on a plane, which is going to be a first for our kids to get on a plane and fly international. So we are going to be going to Israel with our friends Shirley and Eris from Zula Life. They are from there, and they got some great prices on plane tickets. So they messaged us and said, hey, if you guys buy them today, there's great prices. We'll show you an awesome time. So we went for it.
Yeah, how can you beat that, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be crazy.
It is, yeah. We'll see how the kids like a long plane flight.
Yeah.
I guess they're used to long travel days, though.
I think they'll be fine with that. And we're flying with their friends.
Yeah,
they have friends. They'll be with us. So it's going to be an interesting, cool time. We're nervous, but excited. So that's to come. And then right after we get back from there, we beeline it back up to Northern Alabama, where I'll be speaking at the RVE Summit again. And then our tentative plans, we never really know what we're going to do till we do it. But our tentative plans are that we are going to go boondock through Utah again, since we love that so much. And then hit up Montana, and then Alaska, and then make our way back down to Baja for next winter is what we are kind of talking about. But stay tuned, because
that changes.
It changes. So,
daily, almost.
Yes. So stay tuned on that so we can share with you what we actually end up doing.
We'll review this in 2021 and see how close we were to those travel plans.
That sounds like a good plan. All right. So then when we talk about Crazy Family Adventure and what our plans are with that and with the podcast. So we want to get the podcast going, where we release a podcast once a week, and we're throwing around the idea of interviewing some people during the podcast, and then also just doing it ourselves, sharing our knowledge from being on the road. But what we want the podcast to be is just to really help people that are either on the road and just looking for some support, or people thinking about getting on the road, kind of help them learn more about this lifestyle and what all goes into it. This May will have been on the road for 6 years, which is crazy. So just thought it would be a great way to share some of the knowledge of what we've learned. And also, like, we don't know everything by any means. So that's why I thought it'd be fun to bring in some people to interview too, maybe that are just on the road or do it a little different than we do, or whatever it may be. So we're still kind of figuring that out. But the things that we have on the list is that we want to talk about, like, the questions to ask yourself before you go full time. We've had 4 rigs over our 5 years plus on the road, and we're looking to move into a 5th rig. So kind of talking about our whole thought process behind that. Our 1 year on the road insight. So we'll go back to our post we wrote on that when we had just been on the road for a year, and kind of talk through what that felt like. Our 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, we skipped for some reason. So we'll jump to 5 years on the road. And then also go through and do some interviews with the kids. So bring Carson on here and interview him, and then bring Malia and Cannon and Knox, each of them individually on here, and just do a podcast episode where we're talking with them. And we're hoping to bring them in throughout too, so they can be part of it and you can hear their take on everything. Also, how we fund our travels, how we started our businesses, building our blog, our future plans, things we love, things we hate, all that type of stuff. But it's for you, our listeners. So if there's something specific you want us to talk about, please do let us know, either through here, through Instagram, Facebook, our website, whatever it might be. Get a hold of us and let us know some other topics you would like us to talk about.
Yes, that sounds good.
Craig
Well
didn't
said.
know what this plan was.
Well said. I was going to say something different, but it's good.
I documented this while
We
we were
got a lot.
driving the 20 hours back from Wisconsin.
Got a lot to talk about, don't we? Very good.
We do. You love talking.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to break it into series, like series 1, where we'll talk about our insights from different years on the road. Series 2, where we interview the kids. Series 3, where we kind of talk about the financial aspect of it, the business building side of it. Series 4, where we talk about like our favorite places to visit. So lots of things coming, but our plan is once a week we will get it done.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like she said, let us know if there's a particular topic you want us to cover. We are all ears.
Yes.
On this podcast.
We are. And then we are going to be also doing more with our YouTube channel. We've been doing kind of like a vlogging style of our travels, but we want to change it up now to do weekly recaps. So Craig has now taken over YouTube, so you will see his face on this a lot, and he's just going to be sharing with you our week in review.
Well, yeah, sort of. My idea of it was to, just capture kind of the stuff that we do day in and day out. Just to kind of show what goes on here when we're not doing awesome, like, hiking stuff, like, how do you live? Like, how do you cook? What do you guys do during the day to just, I don't know, burn some time or have the kids run around or whatever? How do we cook? All that good stuff.
How do we cook?
Yes, I know, it's like important. But we will do that, and I want to show that kind of in a weekly wrap-up video, like Brianna said, and then we'll also do some stuff if there are any questions that you guys have that you want to see in particular, how we make it work in this rig, then comment somewhere, because you can't comment on YouTube anymore, right?
Yeah, not right now.
Oh, bummer. I love the
can
comments
find
on
us.
YouTube. So shoot us a message through crazyfamilyadventure.com or something.
Or on Instagram or on Facebook. There's all sorts of ways you can connect with us. But we will also be doing another YouTube. So our plan is to have 2 videos go out a week. One that'll be our weekly recap, and the second one that'll be somewhat more informational. Kind of like a lot of the times it'll just be us recording the video of us doing the podcast, or maybe we'll talk about how we are installing solar, or when we're doing we're going to be putting a slide topper on or a new awning on. Like, we'll do some of those type of videos. So kind of one a weekly recap, and the second one more like informative type of videos. So that is our plan for that. We also have a product coming out, a glacier guide. It's a 70+ page ebook on a 1-day, 3-day, and 7-day itinerary if you're planning a trip to Glacier. So we are super excited about that. We love Glacier, so we're excited to share with you our recommendations. We've spent, over the years on the road, I want to say at least 2 months total at Glacier just exploring the park. So super excited for that.
So is there a way for people to sign up or kind of get in the pipeline to get that when it comes out? Tell them. They want to know this.
Yes, there's a link in the show notes to where you can buy the guide.
You can buy it. Look
Which
at
now
you.
I just made my set the deadline for when I need to have that out. So there will be a link in the show notes to where you can go and buy the Glacier guide.
All
And we
right.
would love your feedback on it. Let us know what you think, because if this goes over well, our plan is to make multiple guides for all sorts of locations we've been, or maybe it's just a California guide, driving your RV through California, where to go, things like that. So definitely let us know what you think of it and what else we should do with it.
But it also includes if you don't RV, right?
Right.
Kind of where to stay and how to do it.
Yep, in RV or not. So it has both in it. So we got to figure that out too. If we'll always do it that way or do some RV specific, we'll see. And then we are in the process of working on a book on RVing full time with kids, which, yes, I'm not setting a date to that, but we will continue to work on that and trying to increase our email content. So if you have not signed up for our email list, please do so. A link for that in the show notes as well, so that you can be in the know with everything that's going on. When we release a new video, new blog post, new podcast, new product, all that fun stuff will be on there, and you can keep up to speed on what we are doing. So that is what we have planned for Crazy Family Adventure, on top of getting new blog posts out once a week and potentially working with some destinations and things like that. Then for Virtual Powerhouse, the goal is to continue to grow our Pinterest clients there, and then maybe add in some social media clients. But as of right now, Pinterest has been a great focus there, so we will continue to do that as well. And above all, our why behind why we do this is family, freedom, and travel. So I know all of this sounds like a lot, but our goal is always to make sure that family comes first, and then having the freedom we want, which means that we are not working a ton. Always just trying to keep it at about 20 hours a week for me, and Craig maybe a few extra hours here and there, trying to really keep it at that point. And then travel. We will be continuing to travel while we are doing all of this. And the big thing I think with that allows us to be able to do it is that we hire people to help us. So we hire podcast editors, we hire video editors, I have a virtual assistant for Crazy Family Adventure. I have a team of people at Virtual Powerhouse. We have people that are helping us across the board. My sister's a graphic designer. She helped us with the guides, like all sorts of things. That anytime we take on something new, we look to hire someone else that can come on and help us with it so that we can maintain the hours we want and enjoy our freedom too.
I want to hire a babysitter. Can we do that?
Well, Carson's 12, so we just gotta pay him, and he fun times. We're getting there. Our kids are getting to that age. It's crazy. But yes, so all that being said, that is a wrap on our 2019. That is our 2020 plans, and we are excited to have you come along on this podcast journey with us. Our next podcast is going to be on 14 questions to ask yourself before going full time. So we will talk through some things that you want to be sure to consider before you make the decision to go full time. So that's what we got.
That sounds very good.
All right. Awesome. We will be back shortly.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.